Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well for whatever you are. This is Kenyan Revolutionary for another session. As usual, today I'll be very brief. I won't stay for long for obvious reasons. Well, not for obvious reasons, but for the fact that I'm kind of not all the way 100. But I just wanted to have these discussions. There's two things I want to discuss today in this session. Number one, I want to briefly talk about this whole discussion that's going around that was raised by Jimmy Wanjigi's lawyer. He's a lawyer, yes, but he's known for being Jimmy Wanjigi's family lawyer or personal lawyer, whatever the case is. Willis Otieno, I think, who brought up an issue that really needs to be re-examined, or, we should look at keenly regarding what the Constitution says the general election should be held. So we'll kind of delve into that very quickly and see if what he says actually has merit. Most people seem to be agreeing with him, and that is basically that the Kenyan general elections should be held, or could be held if it is challenged through the courts, should be held on the 11th of August 2026 and not 2027. So if someone was to put in a petition, as Okiom Tata also posted that he did petition in the courts for the elections to be held in the fifth year, on the fifth year, as the Constitution says, but they were turned down, I guess. So if that was to go through, that means that next year we could be having an election, not next year, 2026, not 2027. Now, we'll get to that in a second. Then the second part, I'll briefly discuss about Matiang'i. I think Matiang'i is trending because he came back. He made his way back to Kenya yesterday or the day before that, after his tour from his colonial masters in California. Of course, I mean, this Matiang'i guy, by all indications, you can tell that he's being sponsored by a foreign government that has vested interest in Kenya. So you can tell. And, things are popping up. People are bringing up things that Matiang'i is known for. And I'm not talking about his work when he was the CS of education or whatever the case is. People are bringing back, the whole Yala, bodies in River Yala, and so forth, so forth. People who got fired in the airport and all that stuff. So Matiang'i is trending for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. But we shall also delve into that and talk briefly about that. I don't want to. To me, I think Matiang'i is a non-factor. He's just noise. He's there to create a buzz and, just entertain you for the sake of entertainment. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, and comrades, the first order of business. You know what the first order of business is. Like the video, share, comment, and if it's your first time here in this channel, or you've been watching this channel and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It is free. And put your notification on, so every time I come in, you will always be notified, whether it's through your whatever gadget you're using, whether it's a phone or iPad or iPhone or iWatch or whatever the case, smartphone. You can always do so. It's important to put that notification button on so you can get me every time I come in here and have these sorts of discussions, which is Kenyan politics or world politics as it relates to Kenya. Okay, so let's get started, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, comrades, and for all of you also who are going to watch this on repeat, please do the same. The first order of business, don't forget, is to like the video. Okay, so tuanze tuingie katika mada ya leo. Let's start with this lawyer Willis Otieno. I think that's his name. There's just a snippet of him. He was talking about this. Let's see what he had to say about this whole idea of why we should be having an election next year, August 11th. And we shall also take a look at what the Constitution says about that, okay? So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Watch Nianze with that small clip that will show his where he kind of makes that point, okay? Meanwhile, while I do so, usisao, go ahead and like and do all the good stuff. So, All right. Ndio hiyo basi. Poleni sana. If I can only...
On the second Tuesday of the fifth year.
Hold on.
Tuesday is the 11th of August. I want to invite Kenyans.
I'm trying to start it all over again so we can get the whole thing. So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear. I'm trying to restart it so you can get the full clip and not the just parts of it. All right. Here it is.
The second thing I want to say, and I want to invite Kenyans to do for me the math. You know, if you go by our constitution, it provides that a presidential election should be held on the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year. The fifth year.
After the previous
general elections. The fifth year. The second Tuesday of August of the fifth year. Not after 5 years. It talks of the fifth year. So I want to invite fellow citizens to answer the question, when is the fifth year from the date of the last election? The last general election was held on the 9th of August, 2022. Tell me, when is the fifth year? When does the fifth year begin? The fifth year, according to my own summation, begins on the 10th of August, 2026.
Next year.
That's when the fifth year begins.
Yes.
That's when it begins. Next year.
Yes.
And when it begins, your constitution, Article 101 and Article 136, tells you that you should hold the presidential elections on the second Tuesday of the fifth year. The first Tuesday is the 11th of August. The second Tuesday is the 18th of August, 2026.
That is when basically the next election.
That is when the next elections should be held.
Not
so legacy politicians should stop gaslighting us and plant in our heads to subconsciously accept that the elections should be held in the year 2027. It should not.
But the term is a 5-year term.
There is nowhere in our constitution that says the president shall serve for a 5-year term. That's what I'm telling you. Previously in our constitution, section 9 of the old constitution had specifically provided that the president shall serve for a 5-year term. That terminology was dropped when we came up with the 2010 constitution. It simply said the president shall hold office until the next one is sworn in. And in terms of the swearing in, it is a consequence of an election. The process of coming up with the next president. And that is what leads us to Article 101 and Article 136 of the Constitution, which talks of the date of the presidential elections, the general elections. The election of a president shall be held on the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year.
Not after 5 years.
Not after 5 years. You know, in the good book, we are told that my people suffer for lack of knowledge and understanding. Kenyans have been suffering for lack of knowledge and understanding. It is right there before you. It's right there before you. Read your constitution. It's not I who came up with it. And Kenyans said we will be doing our elections on the fifth year. Which day of the fifth year? The second Tuesday of August of the fifth year. Not the second Tuesday of August after the fifth year. No. Of the fifth year. And to tell you that this interpretation of the law is the correct one. In 2017, Uhuru Kenyatta did not serve a 5-year term.
From 2013.
From 2013 March.
To
until 2017 August. He did not serve a full 5-year term. The elections were held before 5 years lapsed. It is because we were calculating the fifth year, the second Tuesday of August of the fifth year. It is only this 2022 that somebody misled us to believe that we don't have to count the 5th year. We should have had the election in 2021.
2021 August.
Yes.
Or April.
No, August.
August,
It was coming. It was 2nd Tuesday of August.
Yeah.
So this time now,
Yes.
we've raised this. Let Kenyans do their math and determine which date that is.
Yeah.
As per the Constitution, not your own perception.
Yeah.
Not what was there before. So nationally, we've had a national subconsciousness that a term of a president is 5 years. That has been the subconscious thought in our mind. But now I'm telling you the black and white letter of the law.
Yeah.
It is the 2nd Tuesday of August of the 5th
Of the 5th year, which will be next year, 2026.
On the 18th of August.
All right. So the idea is, so the question here is, I think most of us, for those of you who might still want to defend the 2027 election date, the question is, when does the presidential term actually begins? Okay. Excuse me. And excuse me. As he has explained, he has said that, August 9th is when the elections were held, right? August 9th, 2022, right? And after the elections are held and whoever is declared the winner, whoever becomes the president, okay, their term basically starts then. We don't consider the whole process of the swearing in and stuff, because the majority of people always says that after the swearing in is when the president actually officially takes over and becomes, starts operating as the president, which is fine, which is true, yes. But I think if I understood him right, he said that the swearing in is a consequence of what happens in the election day. So basically, in not so many words, he's saying that once the election happens and a new president is chosen, is elected, okay, that president, his term starts on that day that he's declared the winner, okay, regardless of the swearing in day. The swearing in is just ni tu ile ku officially start their kuanza kazi, lakini term imeanza hiyo siku ya election ambayo imefanywa. So that's what he's basically saying. Now let's look at this article that he actually highlighted. There's article 101 of the elections. Then 136, we'll also take a look at what it says. And also, after this, I'll also try to, see what are the implications of if you were to have an election on 11th August 2026, which is next year, basically. What are the implications of that date? Because IEBC is still struggling to but to, come up with their new commissioners, okay? That hasn't been done. I don't think if, the whole process, I don't know how far we are from actually getting ready to really hold an election. As far as IEBC, I don't know how ready they are to hold an election. But that's something that we shall, let's just deal with what this article says, Article 101. Then we shall go to the Article 136, which addresses this issue of, when the election should be held. Let's go. Let's see what it says, okay? Because if that's the case, then, that will be an interesting development. And like I said, Okiom Tata also posted today and said that, what, I've been knowing this. I petitioned the court and told them that elections are supposed to be held on the 5th year of the whatever present term of, and not after 5 years. That's the difference. We are doing it after 5 years instead of doing it in the 5th year, as the Constitution says. Let's see what the Constitution says before we start even arguing or discussing anything, because hiyo ndio Biblia ya siasa. Ama namna gani? How we govern ourselves. Okay, so here it is. I hope you can see the mnaweza kuona screen. Can you guys see the screen, or it's not showing anything? It is okay. There it is. All right. I hope you guys can see the screen. Can you see the screen? All right. Let's read together. This Article 101, election of members of parliament. This talks about the, it's general election, okay? Parliamentarians and whoever are also, they get elected on this very date. So it says a general election of members. This is 1011 subsection 1. A general election of members of parliament shall be held on the second Tuesday in August in every 5th year. In every what? Angalia hapo, underline hiyo. Every 5th year. Every 5th year. So tulifanya election on 2022. So tunaanza 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. Hiyo ni 5. Okay? Most people start counting from 2023. That's the problem that we are doing now. That's why we are not, the constitution is actually not, we are not following the constitution because kwa sababu tunaanza count after, ati tunasema 2023 ikifika ndio saa hiyo ndio 1 year. No. Tunaanza hiyo siku hiyo 2022. See how we are counting it? So it's basically how you start counting it. That's the problem. All right, twende. So nimesema in our article 101 of the 2010 Constitution, subsection 1, it answers, a general election of members of parliament shall be held on the second Tuesday in August in every 5th year. 2, subsection 2. Well, this talks about whenever there's a vacancy occurs in office of a member of the National Assembly under Article 97, 1C, or the Senate under Article 98, 1B, C, or D, the respective speaker shall, within 21 days of the occurrence of the vacancy, give notice in writing of the. Well, that's not something that we're looking at right here, okay? Now, this is the first part. This basically deals with the parliament, the National Assembly. But this is part of the general election. I know this deals with the tuangalie Article 136 and see what Article 136 says about this the 5th year. But there the key word is, I think the discrepancy here, the mistake that we do is we always say that, as the person was asking Anani, Willis, he was saying we confuse. We say after 5 years is when we have an election. But the Constitution says on the 5th year from the day. He didn't say from the day, but on the 5th year. 5th year, which means when we should ask ourselves, when does the new president assumes terms begin? Okay? And we can all agree that it starts whenever he is, declared the president. Akishinda elections, even after hizo maninio, of course, every elections in Kenya always ends up in the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court, upholds their victory, then the term basically starts. What I think he's saying, in other words, is that after that election is sin election ilifanywa August 9th, right? At the end of the day, in August 9th, the winner of the election ideally should be announced then. And thereafter, the term of that winner starts on that Yosiku, or the next day, the next day. So in August 9th. So term ya huyo mtu alishinda, that president that won that election in August. So Ruto, okay, let's use Ruto for example. Ruto won in August. Elections were held on August 9th, 2022. Okay. Ruto was declared the winner on August 9th. Okay. His term started on that date. Because from that date, if you count from that date up to 2026 August, it makes it 5 years, because it says on the 5th year, then we'll have a next election. He doesn't say that after 5 years, because if you say after 5 years, then you'll be talking about 2027. But this says on the 5th year. Okay, on the 5th year. So let's go to Article 136 of the Constitution, read and see what does that article say about your mambo. So we've been calculating this thing wrong. Then after reading that, so Article 1, is it 136? Yeah, 136 of of Kenyan. Let's see what Article 136 says about this whole thing, because I think it's an interesting revelation. I think hii ni kitu ambayo they should take it to court and challenge it. Say, hey, listen, we don't have to wait till 2027, but of course the Ruto would love to wait till 2027 to enjoy his stay and also have more time to kufanya ukarabati wake or plan for ukarabati, if that's what the case is. Haya, twende sasa. This is article what? Okay, article 136. Let me show you. Please guys, like the video. Make sure you like the video, okay? Ndio tuzidi kujadiliana hapa. Let me show you the article 136, which also deals with the electoral process, or whatever the case is. Hold on, that's not it. All right, all right, here's what it says. Mko ready? I hope you can see it on the screen. Nimeiweka hapo kwa screen. I hope I'm sharing the screen and you can see it. All right. Article 136 of the Kenyan Constitution, 2010 Constitution, subsection 1 say, the president shall be elected by registered voters in a national election conducted in accordance with this constitution and any act of parliament regulating presidential elections. 2, an election of this president shall be held, A, on the same day as the general election of members of parliament, being the second Tuesday in August in every 5th year, or B, in the circumstances contemplated in Article 146. So you see, this Article 136 is kind of conjoined with that Article 101, or is shedding light or giving reference to 101, because Article 101 talks about the elections of the elections of the members of parliament, okay? And it pretty much says the same thing. The same date that the members of parliament are elected is the same day that the president is elected, okay? And again, let's read one more time just for the sake of clarity. 136.1 says the president shall be elected by registered voters. So you have to register to vote in a national election conducted in accordance with this constitution and any act of parliament regulating presidential elections. 2, an election of the president shall be held, listen carefully, A, on the same day as the general election of members of parliament. Remember, members of parliament, Article 101 was dealing with the elections of members of parliament, which we read, which is also being the second Tuesday in August in every 5th year. Or B, in the circumstances contemplated in Article 146. Let's renew that. Let's focus on this A. On the same day as the general elections of members of parliament, being the second Tuesday in August, every kizungu hapo sasa, kizungu, every 5th year. So this is where, if this matter was to go to court, this is where the argument shall arise. The question shall be, the biggest question will be, when does the president start serving his term? Okay, is it after being sworn in? Okay, because this says on the fifth year, the second Tuesday of the 5th year. So Saile ataanza kazi on the 5th year of his term. Hapo tunarudi kwa ninio, kwa debe. See, after 5 years ni on the 5th year. Okay? So tumeelewana hapo. All right. So if ideally, basically what I'm trying to say is this. Ideally, if we were to follow the constitution, we should be having an election. But you had Willis say that it should be on the 18th of August, because if you consider all the your time, he didn't say that, but I'm just assuming that's why he said that. Because if you consider all the petition and all that stuff, when did he actually start, working on his working as a president? Then it moves it back to 18th of August, 2026. Regardless, the next general election should be held on August 2026, which is next year. Will somebody take the matter to the Nino, to the courts and challenge it? Maybe they should. Well, there's somebody who already took it to the alishaipeleka hiyo kesi kwa ninio. Okay, Mtata already did. He posted that. He reminded us that he challenged, alipeleka hiyo kesi kwa court to challenge when this was supposed to be happening. But ni kama kupata majibu. But here it is. I'll show you just quickly, very, very quickly, what Okiya Mtata posted, and basically just piggybanking on what I've just read to you, or what lawyer Willis said. And then we shall just quickly discuss, what does this imply? What are the implications if we are to have elections next year in August 2026 and not 2027? Are we ready to have an elections? And what does that mean for Ruto? Do we still have hope that we can actually remove Ruto through the electoral process? In my opinion, I don't think this makes a difference, okay? But we'll get to that. Let me show you Okiya Mtata's real quick. Don't hesitate. Please like the video, and share, comment, and subscribe if you want to subscribe. Okay, here's Okiya Mtata's page here on his X. Aliandika kitu hapa katuonyesha. He says, hey, nyinyi mmechelewa, I've been doing this for years. Anyway, here it is what he's saying. Okiya Mtata, this is 10 hours ago. He wrote, following the recent arguments made by advocate at TNO Willis, that the next election should be in 2026, I would like to remind all that in 2018, Mr. Nyakina and myself unsuccessfully litigated the timing of elections to be in the 5th year and not after 5 years. Some of us fight so the Constitution isn't treated like a suggestion. Read the judgment of the High Court petition number 368 of 2018. So the High Court basically did not agree with Okiya Mtata when they made the same arguments in 2018 with his partner there, Mr. Nyakina. So this has Okiya is telling us that, lishapeleka hii mambo, this is something that I've already done and taken to the court. So, but I would like to see somebody challenge it in the courts again, the High Court or whatever the case is, just to see what happens, okay? I think that's something that would be interesting. I would like to see if the courts will change their mind on the issue, because it's clear. It's clear that, it's supposed to be on the 5th year and not after 5 years. Now, let's just discuss something else. With all said and done, this whole thing, we now, let's just agree that, okay, ideally the Constitution, as per Constitution, the election should be held next year, okay, which will be, because next year will make the 5th year. Okay, what does this mean for Ruto with his grand plan of rigging? Does it change anything? Does it changes the whole idea of, we should register because it's worth it? We might overwhelmingly vote him out through the ballot. I don't think it will make a difference. I think, in my opinion, and you can disagree, I think the die is cast whether we have an election in December or 2026 or 2027 or 2028 or 2035. I think the die is cast. Ruto ashafanya ukarabati, or is in the process of doing the ukarabati, and he will not be going anywhere. I know some people disagree with me. They're saying, you know what, we can still register in droves and just vote him out. No, I don't think so. I mean, you can do that, but no. Wamesha change law to, to give them an advantage. So the IBC amendment bill was basically designed for this very very reason. Okay, so I don't think it does make any difference. So, but you know what? Try your luck, because to me, like I said, I still stick to my guns. I say the only way you can remove Ruto is to removing this year, not only in 2026, not 2027, but this year through a popular people's revolution. Okay. Now, Matiang'i is making headlines. I don't know why exactly, because Matiang'i is not really, he's a Uhuru Kenyatta stooge. We all know that. He's the one who's leading this whole movement with Kalonzo and all these idiots. So I'm not, excited about Matiang'i should be in jail. Okay. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. The first order. I have liked the video and shared it too. Hi. Nice seeing you, my friend. Let me just play something. I like what this young man said. He has a TikTok. I don't know what his name is in TikTok, but I like what he posts, and he's saying something that I agree with. Let me just play that, and then tukiendelea. Ama namna gani? All right, let's see. Let's see here. This is what all right, let's see what this young man says. He's really spits it. Why are we talking project? I know. I don't know why we are talking projects. They're making headlines. We can't avoid them. We have to. We have to. Wanna make headlines. So let's see. Okay, this video is kind of like not okay.
Okay, sometimes I usually want to show you guys how stupid or ignorant these public figures or these people pretend to be or actually are. Okay, so in one of the Githeri dailies, they are pointing out how one of these politicians being fronted with bogus presidential bids anashtuka kwenda online na anaona the same NIS rats or TikTokers who front him or praise him are now starting to praise other camps or front other camps. And I'm like, are you people actually this stupid? I think it's Gashiedha who's anashtuka, maybe anaona Matiang'i or Mtata Maraga being fronted. And I'm like, are you people, are Kenyan politicians really stupid enough to think or assume that they actually hold or wield power in the Kenyan political scene and are not just puppets of moving around and having barazas? As in, you people, you'll even see hata akina Maraga Mtata watashangaa, they see people who've been fronting akina Matiang'i, and unaingia Twitter or TikTok. Why are you getting surprised? The same state that battered Omtata to a pulp because of his high court petitions, okay? The same state that financially choked the judiciary after Maraga voided the rigged election of Jambazi and Muigai. That same state now is trying to tell you, you can be president, sijui, as in, Gashiedha on the other side is being used as a pacifist and demobilizer. Aki anachocho. Morenga kingpin. What are you talking about, bro? You're the kingpin to nowhere. We don't have kingpins in Kenya, just to lords, to communities. Wakuambiwa this one represents you. Wake up, bwana. If Omtata and Maraga don't know they're being used as puppets, you are. Gashiedha, the same. The head of state is a puppet. Why would the rest of you actors not think you are? As in cognitive dissonance ama ni nini?
There you go. Again, I usually make this point and I will make it again. Don't you find it funny that all of these presidential candidates, they seem to be from the same pool of the 'yesteryear politicians. that actually have gained or taken part in this corrupt political system we have in Kenya. There's no choice of a fresh-minded, ideally. I mean, somebody with the new ideas, somebody who's serious, who have a track record of doing right, revolutionary ideas, somebody who advocates for what we actually need, somebody who is known and proven, okay, who's not a puppet, as that young gentleman just explained. We are always just paraded. They parade these clowns, the same clowns that have been there since I don't know when, that are being presented to us as the capable leaders who we should vote for. Either vote for Ruto, who is also part of the problem, or Matiang'i, who is also part of the problem, or Karua is part of the problem. There's no real difference from these people. So that's why I'm saying I usually take issue with people who say or blame the voters and say, oh, we have no choice. Hatuna choice. That's why I'm saying, since we do not have a choice, they want to give us either the Ruto, who we know is a basket case, or the Matiang'i, who are also just as bad as Ruto, if not worse. So the only way we can remove this false choice that we are being presented with is to actually take matters in our own hand and have a people's popular revolution. And that's what I've been talking about. I was surprised to see Okia Omutata at Bunge in Westlands. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Omtata is Omtata. Omtata is he's an interesting character. But yeah, so that's what's happening. So that's why I'm saying this whole mambo ya nani huyu Matiang'i, I won't delve much into what he has to, about his character or whatever. I think there's enough evidence to just, in fact, let me just show you something. Let me show you something, ladies and gentlemen, before I enjoy my Easter. Happy Easter, everyone, by the way. Happy Easter, Gypsy Corner. Here's one thing I wanted to show. If there's anything we can remember Matiang'i for, this is it. Here it is. Let me read it for you guys. I hope you can see the screen. All right. Matiang'i, he was responsible for this extrajudicial killings and police brutality cases under Fred Matiang'i. Watch. Kianjokoma brothers, Caroline Mwatha, Masimba 4, Samuel Maina, John Muli, Yasin Moyo, Baby Mora, Baby Pendo, 40 Yala River Bodies, Whitney Atieno, James Muridhi, Calvin Somondi, Ramadan Juma, David Kiiru, Ibrahim Onyango, Carlton Maina, Eric Ngethe, Peter Gasheru, Vaite. That's the man you want to make president. Mnafurahia yeye Matiang'i. I mean, yeah. Sorry, but 2027 is Ruto's second term, and he's going to inject Gen Z in his team. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. Have a blessed Easter. Guys, happy Easter, everyone. Enjoy Easter na mukae kwa upole na amani. I'll leave it here. If you're going to watch this on repeat, the first order of business, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff. Again, have a happy Easter weekend, and I will see you guys next time. I'm Namnagan. Peace and blessings. I'm out.